It's almost hard to believe that it's here at this point, but here it is, the HTC One M8. Let's unbox it, handle it, talk about it. All right, guys. So really, we do have one in-house. I know this is hard to believe. We've been talking about this phone for what seems like ever, but HTC finally announced it. It is officially the HTC One M8. That's M8 in parentheses. That's the code name for the phone. So it's kind of odd to see them make the official name include the code name. So it's not the all-new HTC One. It's not the HTC One 2014. It is the HTC One M8. That's very odd. That should be interesting to see how they market that, but that's what we're looking at. So we've got the Verizon version because you can actually buy the Verizon version today. You can walk into a Verizon store and pick up the 32 gig version for $199 on contract or $599 without a contract. They're actually running a BOGO deal as well, so buy one, get one free. So if you buy the phone on contract, they will give you one for free, which is kind of a crazy deal. The phone is also available online at AT&T and Sprint, and I believe T-Mobile soon. You can also buy it online from Verizon, but if you want to get the phone in your hand right now, you can go to a Verizon store, and they should have them in stock. So kind of crazy that they announced this just a couple hours ago, and you can already get it in your hand and buy one. So I've got the Verizon version. That's why we're doing this sort of quick unboxing. Tim's got the AT&T version out in New York, and we'll have more coverage of that one later as well, but just wanted to get this one on video and show you guys what's going on. So quick unboxing, quick overview, and then we'll dive into some more in-depth stuff. So in terms of box, here you go, HTC One from Verizon. You guys have seen this because it's been leaked all over the place. There's some spec stuff on there, which we'll get to in a second. So HTC logo right there in the middle. And first thing you'll notice is this card for HTC Advantage, which is their sort of benefit package that comes with buying a phone. One of the things is if you drop your phone and crack the screen within the first 6 months, they will replace the screen for free. They also give you 50 gigabytes of online storage, and then I believe they guarantee that your phone will get updates for 2 years, which is kind of nice. In the box, you get some headphones. So there are a pair of earbuds, USB cable, and then a massive, we're talking massive, power adapter. Interesting. You also then have a SIM tool. Also, that should open the micro SD slot, though I haven't tried that yet. Inside here is guides from Verizon, which you guys don't need to see. So let's slide all that stuff out the way. Now let's talk about this guy. So finally in hand, right? I will say the moment you pick this phone up, you are going to say, wow, this is the nicest phone I have ever held in my hand. And I'm not trying to exaggerate. I've only had the phone for an hour or so, a couple hours, and it's sort of new and it feels fresh and refreshing and it's shiny and all that stuff. But really, when you hold this phone, and the original HTC One felt a lot like this. This one feels a lot better in my opinion. HTC really took this sort of all metal design, premium design, and just stepped it up a notch. So it really sort of folds over this edge right here to create this sort of soft, pillowy feel once in hand. And I know, metal, how pillowy can metal feel, but when you hold it in hand, there's no edges whatsoever. It's just rounded and soft to the touch. It's also really soft just to touch and rub your finger around. It feels great. Again, though, you'll hold this in your hand and you'll go, wow, this thing is unbelievable feeling and looking too. I mean, this is a beautiful phone. With that said, it is big. It's a pretty big phone. So the original HTC One was too big personally for me. I just don't like phones that I have to do a little shimmy to get up to the notification bar. And by no means do I have tiny hands. I also don't have extra large or somewhere in the middle. This phone, it's a little bit bigger than the original, so you're gonna have to do a little shimmy if you want to get up there. But we'll deal with that and see if that's going to be an issue or not. So far, though, really, really liking just holding the phone, using the camera, all of that stuff. So if you're thinking about this phone, I would stop by a Verizon store and just get your hands on it and see what you think about it. Let's talk quick tour specs. So on the backside, for ultra pixel camera, pretty much the same camera they had on that last year's HTC One, though I'd imagine they fine-tuned it quite a bit. And then they've also added this secondary depth sensor. So when you take photos, you can refocus them after the fact and do some sort of 3D effects and things like that. So this is HTC's Duo camera, is the official title there. So 2 cameras. So 4 ultra pixel and then a depth sensor. Then you have dual flash. Big old ugly Verizon and LTE logos down there. There's your HTC logo. On the bottom, and probably one of my favorite things that you'll hear me talk about far too often, headphone jack down at the bottom right next to the micro USB port. So for me, I'm in my car, plug in USB power, and I plug it into my stereo. And there we go. 2 cords at the bottom. I don't have one bottom, one up top yet. I mean, I've gone through this a ton of times. You guys know what I'm talking about. Up top, you have a giant IR blaster with a power switch. On the side over here, you are looking at, and I haven't actually opened this yet, so apologies for not exactly knowing, but this side's either the SIM or the micro SD, and then on the other side, same deal. I would imagine this side is the micro SIM, and this side is the micro SD, but I will have to confirm that for you. I apologize for that. I haven't opened it up yet, so I'm not really sure. Then you have a volume rocker on this side. So that's sort of a quick tour. On the front, 5 megapixel wide angle image sensor up top. So some great selfies, I'd imagine, right? You have dual boom sound speakers, top and bottom. And you'll notice the capacitive buttons that were on the original one are gone because you actually have on-screen buttons, which is actually pretty awesome. So again, the device in hand feels incredible. It is a little big, but it really feels like you're holding like a Ferrari of phones. I mean, it's luxurious. It really is. All right, so let's fire it up here. See what we've got. So Sense 6.0 and KitKat Android 4.4.2. So if you've used HTC One, you will be familiar with Sense 6. It's not that much different, although you can see Blink Feed has sort of been updated a little bit. Looks nicer, prettier, I would say. So Blink Feed is accessible from a swipe from the left to the right. You can go this way and access other pages. You can pinch and decide what you want to be your home screen, all that stuff. We'll have more on that later. But anyway, so yeah, swipe over. So Blink Feed, they've updated a little bit. If we go into services and apps, I believe they added Foursquare, and they're continuing to add new stuff in there. They open up an SDK to partners so they can add new apps and things like that. So Blink Feed, if you guys aren't familiar with Blink Feed, it's essentially their news and social media aggregator that they want to make available to you, so you don't need to use anybody else's social news and media aggregator. I actually like it. A lot of people don't. If we jump into the app drawer, again, this looks familiar. Actually, the first time you boot it up, it will come in 3x4, so it'll look weird like this, and it's vertical scrolling. You can change that. Don't forget grid size. And there you go. You also might want to sort it alphabetically because it's initially sorted all sorts of weird. But so this looks familiar. The Sense hasn't changed all that much. They've just refined some of the apps and things like that. That's what a folder looks like. Swipe down notification bar. You can see all the quick toggles in here. You can edit some of these out. Let's go ahead and jump into settings though and show you guys what we're looking at in terms of settings. So I've changed the UI a little bit. It's got green accents all over. And we'll just slowly scroll through. Display and gestures, we'll get to that in just a little bit here. Storage, so I don't think I mentioned this, but 32 gigs of storage internally, and then expandable with that micro SD slot up to 128 gigabytes. So pretty big deal there. Also, I don't know if I mentioned other specs. Did I say 5-inch 1080p display? Okay, we've got 5-inch 1080p display. You are also looking at a 2.3 gigahertz Qualcomm Snapdragon 801 processor, 2 gig RAM. It's all the newest stuff you would want in a phone, essentially. But let's drop down into software info. Show you there. Sense 6.0, Android version 4.4.2. So we're good there. I didn't mention or show yet the on-screen buttons. So again, no capacitive in this black bar, but you do have on-screen buttons. So a quick swipe up will get you into Google Now, and you can also hit the recent apps button or task switcher there, and then you also have a back button. So no longer long pressing and double tapping and some weird things that HTC made you do with the original one, right? Very, very nice to see them add that on there. So one other thing, just show you really quick. Actually, two things. Let's show you these gestures. So with the screen off, HTC will let you double tap, and that will just sort of wake your phone. If you swipe to the left, that will actually unlock and get you into your your apps pages or your home screen. And then actually, let me show you this. So if I go, let's just go into like the phone. Okay, and then lock. And then if I swipe up, that will take me into whatever I was last left off. So if you lock the screen on a browser or in Hangouts or something like that and you swipe up, it'll take you into whatever you were last in. And then if you swipe left to right, this gets you directly into Blink Feed. And then if we swipe down, this actually gets you into voice calling. At least I believe it's supposed to. Let's try that again. Thought it was supposed to do that. Thought swiping down was voice calling, but I could be mistaken. So We'll have to play with that some more. Yeah, it's supposed to be. Anyways, you sort of get the points. If you turn it sideways and hit the volume button, it launches right into the camera, and it's almost instant. I mean, you can really get in there quickly. So speaking of camera, let's show you guys what we're working at here. Let me bring in some props. All right, so camera, if we look into modes here, you've got camera, video, Zoe, selfie, dual capture, and pan 360, which is essentially photosphere. So very cool that they've added that. So let's go ahead and just take a picture with the camera. So if I I'm just going to hold this up like this. It's getting a little bright. Let's just do it like this. Okay, so snapped a picture. So this is where the depth sensor comes in. So if we look at this picture and we go down to edit, and up top here, you'll see we've got effects selected. Sorry about that. And then down here you have U focus. So if I tap U focus, it'll process for a second. This is where you can start tapping around and it'll blur everything in the background. Or I could tap that and put my focus there and it'll sort of blur everything up front. So it focuses on whatever you're tapping on. It's actually really cool. And if we back out here and we swipe over, these are some other test shots. So I did a couple with my son. So here's one, and if we go ahead and edit this, and I actually may have already edited this one. So you focus. Yeah, already did that. Sorry, let me swipe back out here. There we go. So this one, so if I go and edit, and we go you focus, you can see he's laying down there and it's focused on his little play gym, but I can then tap and focus on him and it blurs out some other things. It's really a cool effect that you sort of get. The other thing they added then, so let's go back and edit. My son is now the star. So here's this 3D effect. So if I tap on this, it'll process. And if you sort of twist around, you can sort of see it's trying to do like a 3D look. It's really just kind of warping everything. It's an interesting idea. I don't know how much I'll use it, but that's sort of what the Duo camera also does. So the camera is really, really cool so far. You know, we'll test out quality and things like that, especially video. And then this Pano 360 thing is cool. You do have access to quick settings right here, which is kind of nice. I've really simplified the camera app quite nicely. So, you know, that's pretty much a quick tour. You know, we're obviously going to do a full in-depth review and some other overviews and stuff. We just want to give you guys a quick look just so you can see what it looks like. Oh, and if you want to see what it looks like next to the Moto X, I mean, it dwarfs it, right? It's the size it's not even comparable. So if you think the Moto X is big, you really will think this thing's huge. Anyways, we're Droid Life. It's been a, well, longer than I thought unboxing, a quick overview of the HTC One M8. You guys got questions, comments, let us know. We're going to have the phones for a while. We will do full reviews, all that good stuff. So if you got anything else, let us know. We're Droid Life. Peace.